Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is. Quick couple things before we get started. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Get Heavy Podcast. $1 a month gets you in the door, early access to episodes and bonus content. Rate, subscribe, follow, and review the podcast on all audio outlets. It really does help. Check out the YouTube. Hit that notifications bell, subscribe button. Doesn't mean shit to you, but it means a lot to me. And check out the merch, localshop.com/Get Heavy Podcast. We got new merch dropping soon. I appreciate everyone that supported so far. Also, go ahead and give us a call on the Get Heavy Hotline, 805-666-2314. And you can leave your weird story, message, answer the question of the week, rates, reviews, fucked up shit, send your memes, texts, voicemails, whatever you want. Know that it will maybe used on the podcast if it is good. Having said all that, enjoy the episode. Get Heavy Podcast, hosted by Craig Gonzalez.
Hey, hold on.
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Let me close my door real quick.
All right.
See the little one over there?
Yeah, man. I got Jasper, my other dog, on the floor over here.
Damn, look at your camera. Man, I got potato quality over
I know.
there.
What's going on? You got to clean that lens, buddy.
Hold on a sec.
Let's see. Oh, there's a little better.
That's all I got, man. It's not
Hey, man.
not an old laptop, but the price was right, you know.
There you go, man. That's good. How's life, brother?
It's good. Yeah, it's
Yeah?
good.
Awesome.
Real mellow over here.
What's that?
Real mellow over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, it's been raining for a few days and, you know, I'm not working all that much. So just hanging out with my dog, reading, watching TV.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. What's that little pooch's name?
This is June.
June. Yep. That face, dude. That's cool. So where are you in Oakland, San Francisco? Where are you living?
West Oakland. Yeah.
Oh.
Still West Oakland, going on, I don't know, even maybe 10 years now.
I know, man. You moved out here a minute ago. I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, it's been a while, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think the Shimer's 4th of July party 2012. I moved July 5th, day after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you feel the itch to come back yet, or are you good up there?
I love it up here.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's, you know, all the friends are back home and the family's there and it's like a cozy little cradle, but you know, stuff moves quick up here and there's a lot to do, and you know, I've been here for a while, so I feel pretty set. Yeah.
That's good.
You
man.
know, I'll never I mean, the fact that Ventura has graduated to almost Bay Area level statuses as far as like how much it costs to live.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that you have to commute out of it to really get decent work.
Right.
You know, doesn't make me want to run home any quicker, but certainly never be able to buy property probably.
Yeah, well, we deal with the same shit here too, you know what I mean? I've been holding off on buying a house for like 5 solid years, you know.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And I make decent money, you know what I mean? It's still
totally
laughable to even think about it. I don't know what I mean, is rent up there? It's got to be, cuz up here it's like $3,000 for a house, which is a lot, you know what I mean? But it's got to be bananas up there.
Yeah, I mean, we do really well here where I live, and we pay, you know, probably closer to 4 for a house, but that's like unheard of, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
is it really?
With, you know, the circle of friends has had this house for like close to 12 years probably.
Really?
So like, you know, and they can only like raise the rent a certain percentage every year, which I'm sure they're bummed about, but you know.
Yeah.
But you're looking at $3,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment here. But then you can find niches where you'll get one for $2,000. And actually, you know, COVID, housing costs shot through the roof, but rental costs went down because a lot of people split because they could work from home. So they
Right.
moved back to wherever they're from or to cheaper cities, and it left the rental market kind of flush with empty places. So
Well, that's good. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it makes it fucking a little doable, you know. But I
yeah.
mean, even when you hear $4,000 for a fucking house, you're like, but you know, obviously there is like a living wage almost up there too, right? I mean, as far
I
as it
mean,
goes, or
there
is it
is and there
still the
isn't.
minimum wage shit over there?
Yeah, it totally varies. I mean, we thought we were cool having a $15 minimum wage. But that seems to be like a cross California thing now, anyways.
Yeah.
Except there's plenty of cities where it's not that. But I think we were one of the first counties to prioritize that, which was cool. But that still is not a living
Not a
wage up
living
here
wage.
would be closer to $30 an hour, probably. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure, man. Yeah, it's a trip when you start looking when you have to do some real adulting. You know what I mean?
right.
You start getting interested. And you look at properties. And you're all, "Ugh, I guess I'm not an adult, man. Fuck it."
Totally.
You know?
It's funny how window shopping changes from when you're like a teenager to
Mm.
in your 20s, and now it's like using those apps like Zillow and stuff, and you're window shopping like houses you'll never ever have, but you're imagining the sunset from that porch and like a rocking chair and shit. Like
Totally. I remember my biggest obstacle was being able to afford a bullet belt at Wild Planet. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like that was like $50. Fuck. You got to
yeah.
pay per shell. Fuck. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You're tripping out, fucking panicking, trying to figure out how to spange fucking $50. And now it's
Yeah,
like, I look at a property, like I looked at one around here the other day just to look because it's like it's in a weird corner. The house is pretty beat up, but it's a big lot. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm like interested in, like property, you know? So I
right.
fucking called the guy, dude, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, they want the house is like 2,000 square foot." I'm like, "That's not bad." And they're like, "Yeah, you know, it's almost like a half-acre lot." I'm like, "Cool, cool." And he's
All
all,
right.
"They're asking 1.3 for it." I'm all, "Lose my fucking number, dude!" Like,
Yeah.
like immediately lose my number. Don't ever call. He's all, "Well, we got some cheaper shit." I'm all, "Stop it! Don't ever call me again." I said,
Right.
I'm mad at you." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Dude, you called me." I'm all, "I know. This is how it goes."
Totally.
Fucking,
It's cruel,
it
it's
is.
honestly this that the housing thing is it's just cruelty to people to do that. And it's we're not out there trying to find some fancy thing. Like most of us
Oh
want to,
yeah,
at the most we could ask for is a backyard, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And maybe two bathrooms, which would be cool because you really don't want to like blow your partner up sometimes in the morning and you want to like
yeah,
have a little
totally.
space. So but and that seems like a lot to ask these days. It really
It
does.
really is. Are you with the Milk Bros? Are you living with the Milk Bros right now,
I
or
am.
what?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
just
I
made that
am.
name up, by the way. I know it's not a name, but that's
No,
what I'm
that's
calling it.
it is now. That's it.
The
Yeah.
Milk Bros house, dude.
Uh, yeah, yeah. We all live together. Brian's
Oh, do you really?
downstairs. Me and Maddie are upstairs.
Oh, Maddie's with you too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Maddie's just a bathroom away from me right
Well,
now.
ain't that a joy, dude?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. He
How
brings a
much
lot
do you regret getting convincing that guy to move up there?
not at all. No,
I
yeah.
know.
Uh, he brings like so much energy to the house that sometimes it makes me feel like I wanna shut away because I'm like jealous I don't have like
Yeah,
that unending well of joy for life
I
constant.
know. It's
I'm
insane.
like,
I keep like, I always wonder like, when's the darkness gonna come out? And it does come out in moments, but
yeah,
the
yeah, maybe
real darkness, dude. Like, when's the real darkness of Maddie gonna come out, dude?
I don't know. I mean, and even though his level of real darkness probably isn't even close to like an actual level of darkness,
I know.
he might say some offhanded mean thing, and you're like, and it hurts you so much more than an actual awful thing from someone else because it's from Matt.
Yeah, it's like when your
Um,
parents tell you they're disappointed in you rather than yelling at you.
totally,
You're all,
yeah, yeah. I'd rather get the back of the hand than like that speech for sure.
yeah, totally, dude. So
Yeah,
you're living with your band, fucking being in a band with them. It's not
yeah.
driving you nuts, huh?
No, and they're really sweet about my pace because I move really slowly. And after No Say with Brian and Carter and Eric, I was really kind of wanting to take a break.
Oh,
So I've
really?
been like, and I didn't really like play guitar for a long time, probably close to 2 years. I didn't really like mess with it.
Really?
Yeah, it was just not. It just didn't feel it. And
Yeah.
with this band, when we started it, I kind of wanted it to be like the opposite of No Say in the sense that it's like just boiled down 3-piece, simple songs, all kind of with like a negative twinge, like, you know, minor chords and sharps and flats and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like not a ton of vocals going on. So
Yeah.
and you know, it's been 3 years and I think I've written like 16 songs. So,
Yeah.
moving very slowly. Like I was really busy with my job at the time too, and
Right.
everyone's really busy up here. You're constantly moving, so
Yeah.
the pace of the band that I wanted kind of fit our lifestyles at the time. Anyways, we weren't twice a week 6-hour practices like we used to be, you know. So
Right.
now
Yeah.
it's
Well,
once a week.
you do get like, you know, you get fucking burnt out, man. And, I mean, because you've
Yeah.
always been such a, you know, prolific fucking songwriter. I mean, since the day I met you at Salzer's, I remember the day I met you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I've always been impressed with like your songwriting capabilities and, you know, the volume at which, you know, you've turned out music. You know, especially with like Glass and Ashes being such a seemingly tumultuous end. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I could see how it could burn you out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, that really was the traveling that burnt me out. You
yeah,
know, in Glass and Ashes, everyone had seemingly they had like great jobs that like their bosses love them, appreciate them, let them come and go. And for me, it was like I was the one dude who's like I had a really good job at a screen printing shop, and I'm
right.
like, hey, my band's going on tour in a month. I'll be gone for 6 weeks, and the owner would be like, oh, cool, man, that's exciting, great, go for it, have a good time. And I'd come back from the tour and I'd be like, hey, in a month I'm going to be gone for another 5 weeks, and he'd be like, we already did that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's like an ongoing thing. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh really? Get the fuck out. See you
Yeah,
later.
totally.
I'm like, I was always that guy, so I had 20 jobs, you know, and it just
Right.
like I resorted to hawking records on eBay and Amazon to pay my rent, you know, and it was just like way too much. So,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot about songwriting in Glass and Ashes, you know, and me and Gleason did a lot of that second record, living at Hummingbird. And he taught me a lot about that. I never stopped playing like acoustic guitar. You know, I'm always writing ditties and shit, but like it's, you know, it's hard to put stuff together sometimes when there's all this shit going on in your life, and you know, there's all those mitigate. Some people can like face some adversity and like write this magic tune out of it. For me, like I crumple up, I fetal position it in my bed, and I don't touch my shit, you know.
Right. That's exactly how I am. I have to have chaos in my
Yeah.
life to write. Like I have to be changing my job and having another kid and fucking, you know what I mean? I have to have
Right.
I have to be in chaos in order to find that inspiration to write, which was weird because COVID was like a different type of chaos, and I found myself completely drained and couldn't write anything. Like we've written maybe 6 songs like in parts, you know what I mean? Like we have a couple newer songs with tongue, but since the record, but we couldn't do shit, dude. Like I could not find, you know what I mean? Which is like, cause it was weird. It wasn't like I wasn't busy, you know what I mean? I was at home working for a lot of it, and then dealing with kids and getting them through that. And I just could not find any fucking inspiration to write, dude. It was really weird, which normally chaos makes me go like, fucking let's go. You know, I get in gear.
It was like a weird mundane chaos. Cause you know, on the news and out in big cities, you know, people were hurting. Right. But like, we're kind of in our 4 walls, kind of watching it from afar. And it felt like, I remember everyone going into that lockdown being like, dude, we're going to get so much work done. We're going to draw all this shit. We're going to write all this shit. We're going to have a record by the time this ends. Like 9 out of 10 of those people didn't do shit. And I was one of them, you know. It's just like, it was really difficult. And I just kind of wanted to sink, and I worked from home too. And it was a lot of meetings. It was a lot. This is the first Zoom I think I've had since, you know, May or June of 2020. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because you end up, everything goes on. I wish I would have bought stock in that shit, dude. Fuck. I'd be a fucking billionaire right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally.
Yeah, but I mean, the Zoom meetings are ridiculous. You know, it is. But this, what it did do is, you know, it lit the fire under my ass to restart the podcast, to really fucking be able to try to connect with my friends again, which is something that I haven't been able to do for years.
Right.
You know, it was with my head down grinding, you know, even raising kids and shit. So it was cool in that aspect. But, you know, I have realized over the years that I can do a few things really well at a time. But the 90 things going on and managing and juggling it all is like not fucking, I can't do it anymore, you know what I mean? And I don't have any interest either, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to fine tune shit because I think we were all kind of raised similarly where we like always have to have our irons in like 20 fires,
Right.
throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Like, what's that term? Master of none. What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, totally.
And then the ones you kind of latch onto. Obviously for us it was music because it was more than just the songwriting, it was the energy and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, we both got to that age where we had to find something else because the rent and family.
Yeah. Well, I was actually getting like pretty fucking jaded, dude, and over it. You know what I mean? Like, playing shows, like the butterflies went away. You know what I mean? And now I'm only expecting someone to stomp on my shit and break something. You know what I mean? And I really like decided, like, when Tongue started, I had taken a good long break for the first time in my life from music. You know what I mean? Like, just like you taking a couple of years off. Like, that was the first time in my life I'd ever stopped playing music.
Yeah.
And and I had to like really learn how to reappreciate what we're lucky enough to do. You know what I mean? In whatever aspect we do it in at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm the same way. I mean, the butterflies never go away, but I was never sure if they were the good ones or the bad ones, because it doesn't matter how many shows you play, like you feel that way right before you get up.
Yeah.
And you're expecting complete chaos and doom, and everything usually goes fine. But I got a lot of milkweed in my soul, so the butterflies are thriving.
There you go. Yeah. Just for me, it started going away, and I started expecting things. You know what I mean? Like expecting it to be a certain way, expecting it to fucking. And it just like when I stepped away from it, I realized how much it actually bummed me out that I would even not really be stoked to fucking do this anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was part of the touring. It was part of everything else going on in my life. You can only do that shit for so long and not make any fucking money on it,
I know. I mean, half the time we're paying to play shows,
Yeah, when you do the math on it.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I when I stopped really kind of playing a lot, like I started to feel a little guilty, like because like friends were asking what's going on, and it's so nice to have like a supportive group around you actually interested in the shit that you're doing. It feels like a gift. I still will never forget, and we've had this conversation years ago, like we remember back when we had to like beg to get on shows,
Oh yeah.
And once you start getting offered shows, you like feel like you're fucking David Lee Roth or some shit.
Yeah, you've made it.
But you don't get the David Lee Roth money or anything, but like it's just having a supportive community around you, curious about it. Like it's what started me writing the shit that became Milk Bath and stuff. But it was all kind of, when I started playing guitar, there's my dog. I never wanted it to be a thing like this is my identity, this is what I have to like bank everything on.
Right.
Like I wanted it to be purely just I'll do it when I feel like doing it. And like luckily I felt like doing it more often than not, but still to this day I start like those few years I was like, can I even play anymore? Do I even remember what I was doing? I remember all the old songs, which I don't remember most of them. I got friends in the neighborhood that can play Glass and Ashes songs better than I can. Dude. I'm not even kidding. Like, and it's like, but it's always there. It's always going to be there.
It will come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Arthritis notwithstanding, you can play the guitar for the rest of your life. You can be the old man on the porch in the rocking chair. Yeah. From that house on Zillow.
Totally, man. Yeah, it is fucking it's a different animal, man. You got to figure out I'm going on almost 25 years of playing music, you know what I mean? And I feel like I've just barely scratched the surface on what I can do, and I feel boxed in a lot of times with my style and my tuning, and I fucking don't know how to get out of it. And and then you get discouraged, and then you find something that fucking works, it gets you excited, but it really is a gift, you know what I mean, to be able to produce something like that, because I've met so many people in this world that have never, ever, ever had the chance to do anything creative for themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it really does make you appreciative of like the fact that you do have the talent to do it, and you can, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have a family and kids and stuff, and you have a legacy laid out, and like for
I don't know about how much of a legacy
for a single boy like me who probably will never have any offspring, something like that is almost a legacy where you're like, even if just one person keeps the fucking record for 20 years, you're like, you made something out of nothing. It's there. You literally physically created, shit out of nothing. Hopefully it won't end up in the ocean with all the straws and shit. But like it's out there. It's in the ether. People will find it. They might be buying it out of dollar bins because your cover art was cool.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
where you spent all the money on your album hiring that artist to draw your cover art. It might sell our records out of dollar bins 30 years from now. Who knows?
Man. Your record might be the fucking vinyl that's stuck in the turtle's nose in the ocean, dude.
Oh no! Come on.
Yeah, I mean mine too. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, probably yours, not mine.
Yeah, definitely. I'm aiming for it, dude. I've been rolling them all up real tight, dude.
Oh
all
shit!
The records.
Just like melting them in the oven and. Oh man.
Yeah, fuck those turtles.
Oh come on!
I love them, dude. Yeah.
The turtles are all we have. Dude.
I know, turtles and bees, dude. That's it. Our whole world depends on them.
Right.
Yeah, it is a trip though. I mean, I just I really coming into these handful of shows, especially coming out of COVID. Like, have you found yourself out of COVID? Are you starting to pick it back up again? Are you starting to find it, the inspiration, or no?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I don't know. Inspiration's funny because it's so different for everyone. I've never had like bazinga moments, like I've never, it's just like usually I'm sitting down fucking around and something pops out and that's cool.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple, right as a couple months ago when we were getting out of the really gnarly climb as far as like deaths from COVID and like the vaccine was becoming more available. Like I started to go out more and practice at the jam spot alone. And some nights I'd go out there and I'd sit and stare at my shit for 2 hours. And other nights I'd go out there and I'd play like ungodly loud, without earplugs and like nothing that happened. And other nights like shit popped out. And so there's a few new songs. We'll be in Ventura on the 29th playing. Right. And we're going to play a couple new songs. And
this will be out right after it. So for the record, the shows went off. It was awesome. It was nuts. That house is fucking badass. The Rat Boys house.
Oh, I'm curious.
It's a good spot, dude. It's
right by a little legendary plot of land where the Garden Village used to stand.
So, totally, man. It's right there, which is rad, But it'll be a good show, and we're playing on the 30th. So nice. I wish you were staying an extra day. You could come hang out, dude. I'm going full David Lee Roth.
What?
We're doing Van Halen covers, man.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It's insane. It's insane, dude.
Wait, you're David Lee Roth?
Yeah, Fatty Lee Roth, dude. I'm going Fatty Lee Roth. Oh yeah, I got it, dude.
Oh my god, of course.
Yeah, there'll be pictures. I got the 1975 David Lee Roth, like white and red spandex pants.
Oh,
dude.
that's the only one to get.
I know.
Oh man.
There's like a bunch of guys from my work that say they're coming, and I'm like, listen, dude, you can't judge me. You know what I mean? You can't judge me on this. You still have to take me serious as an instructor, as a construction worker after you see me do this, because it's gonna be a fucking different level, dude.
Oh no.
It's gonna be a lot of hip thrusting, man.
Yeah. Every time they see you now out on a job and shit, like you're gonna get all serious and they're just gonna start giggling.
Yeah, I know. Literally.
They're gonna remember the gaff tape zucchini in your spandex.
100%, dude. Yeah. Yep. A lot of fucking hip thrusts. A lot of fucking karate moves. You know what I mean? It's watching that guy. Like I've been watching a lot, trying to get like the Roth in my head, dude.
Right.
First of all, Van Halen is horrendous live. Every fucking live video you see is absolutely horrendous. They're off time.
Terrible, really? Oh, okay.
I mean, they're an incredible band. The records are incredible. But try to find a really good Van Halen fucking, that's not a music video.
I guess I never tried. I got to look that up.
It's impossible, dude. Yeah. I mean, they are on so much cocaine.
Well, the bass player's bass is a Jack Daniels bottle.
I know.
And, like, there is, being whiskey drunk and trying to like play, your limbs are like jello.
It's they're not doing it. They're playing flawlessly. But it's too good. Like they're too good at their instruments and they're not playing the songs. Like, and then David Lee Roth like hits maybe a quarter of the lyrics. Because he's running on catwalks and flying around the stage and shit. Like, it's bananas, dude. Like,
man.
Yeah, it's and then the songs are so incredibly fucking hard. Like, I told him I cannot play guitar and do that. Like, there's no way. So, Bill luckily is playing it. And for the record, this comes out after he nailed it. Fucking show went great. You know what I mean?
I saw a little clip of him doing some finger tapping, and it was rad. And he got Rob on drums.
Yeah,
right? It was just incredible. So
he's Hot for Teacher is no joke, dude. It's no fucking joke. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's gonna be very, very fun, dude. And very interesting.
Man, I can't believe we're missing that. I got to work on Sunday. Maybe we should. I don't know.
Cancel it. It's fucking Halloween. What are you doing for
Shoot.
work right now?
Well, I'm helping out at a record store here.
Oh, cancel it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of working at a record store. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday is one of the only days like I gotta be there just because there's not a lot. Well, I'm in the back too. I'm like a pricer and a sorter and a buyer, which is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. Being on the back end of retail is really nice after years and years of being the front line on retail, which
Right,
is.
right.
But this is a mellow. It's like the best record store I think in the Bay Area, and I was saying that before I worked there.
How dare you, sir? Usurp
You know,
Amoeba Records.
it's very. Oh God, you got nothing. You got nothing. I mean, they're cool, but
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
A
Oh,
record
there's
store
always that little. What's it called?
It's called Econo Jam.
Econo Jam. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Great record store, like a tiny little place, but jam packed. Everyone that works there is great. The owner, who's become a friend, is a really like a positive member of the community, and he does a lot of good. Like it's just like a really beautiful place to be. It got me through COVID, and I kept my sanity, by being able to go there and just chill in the back and grab from random stacks of records and price them and hang out and listen to podcasts and disappear. It was nice.
Yeah, it is nice, dude. How is San Francisco right now? Are shows coming back? Are they doing everything, or is everything still pretty locked down over there?
No, yeah, fully. I mean, it's probably been maybe 2 months, maybe more. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to the level it was. Unfortunately, a lot of places like had to shutter.
Didn't make it.
During
Yeah.
COVID,
Yeah.
in San Francisco and Oakland. It's so expensive, and there's no landlord forgiveness. There's no IOUs for business owners, which is pretty unfortunate.
Right.
But
and you guys lost losing Scott is what I mean.
Oh yeah, he was big.
He's a big deal in that area. It meant a lot to a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Lower Mission, way down where he was at the Knockout, is like it feels important to me because that's like the first place I played in San Francisco with Glass and Ashes.
Yeah, I was with you, dude. Yeah, I got the tattoo on my leg right now.
Oh shit!
Did you get it? Did you get the Knockout tattoo?
No. I think did Carter and Jesse. It's the boxing man.
Yeah, it's like the logo. It's the luchador with the boxing glove.
Right. No, I didn't. I don't know. You guys had money. I didn't.
Yeah, there you go.
I spent it all at the bar. So.
Yeah.
But he was.
Dude, remember that night, dude?
No, you got to refresh.
Was it with happened? You guys? It was, right? Let me see. Let me look at my.
I remember some SF trips with you. So.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm talking about. We got tattoos on the Young Livers tour.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. That's when Dave Hall got in a fight with Brian. There's two guys, Dave Hall. Anyway, Ventura guy and.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it was a weird night, man. Fucking, do you ever hear about that?
My memory is spotty.
Is it? Okay, so we played there. It was like the first time I think we had played there. So we must not have played with you guys there, but I just associated you with everything.
Yeah.
But we're playing that show, dude, and the show's killer. Scott's doing it. It's fucking awesome. It's the first time we'd ever worked with him.
Yeah.
Fucking super hospitable, killer, no bullshit. You know what I mean? It was like a really refreshing way to start a fucking tour. And that night, this old kid from Ventura named Brian showed up at the show. And we're like, what's up with you? He was like a little skate grom, you know what I mean? Like from back in the skate street days and the board shop. I guess him. Dave used to fucking torture the shit out of him, dude. I mean, he came there wanting to beat Dave up, you know what I mean? Which was and he kept telling us like all night, he's like, I'm gonna beat Dave up. I'm like, hey man, get it. You know what I mean? They're the exact same size human. It couldn't be a more equal fight, you know what I mean? It could. And so he came in there with a mission, dude, and he got Dave to fucking fight him, dude. And I guess there was I actually missed it. I was in the bar watching bands and getting fucking hammered, but I come out to all this chaos, and so I guess they were fighting in the street, fucking going at it, and Brian's lighting him up. Dave's not notorious for winning fights, you know what I mean? So anyway, but I guess they're fighting, and it's a pretty scrappy, shitty fight. And someone two huge black dudes in a Cadillac rolled up as they were fighting, jumped out, called them both pussies, and punched one of them, dude.
Oh,
just shit. Fucking added to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
and then booked like bailed, right? And that kind of ended the fight, dude. It
All
was
right.
such a wild night, man.
That's a quick de-escalation tactic, I guess. There,
Dude, he's all,
they were
man, y'all
probably
motherfuckers don't know how to fight. And he
they were
fucking
probably
punched
watching
one
from
of
a
them.
block away, and they're like, "We got to end. This is going on too long over here. This is come on."
It was so nuts, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Dave got knocked out at the knockout. You know what I mean? Which was,
Oh man.
I don't know if he actually got knocked out or not, but it was fucking pretty. It was
Yeah.
nuts, dude. Yeah.
Oh man.
Shows up there have always been killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And the knockout especially, it's funny because when we started this band, Scott was like probably the only person to respond. I hate sending emails.
Oh
When you
yeah.
start a band and you're trying to get shows and you start emailing people like, "Hey, we have this band." You know they get a million of those a day. Like,
Oh totally.
especially people like Scott who was booking at the Knockout. I mean, for 2 decades or something.
Right.
You know? And it's a tiny little place, but like people wanted to play there because the energy was always good and
Right.
sound was good and the drinks were cheap and you could play bingo before you got on stage, you know. So
Yeah.
but like he was one of the only ones who listened to the link, responded, liked the band. And I think our first, second, and fourth show ever were all at the Knockout, you know, because
Really?
he kept like pulling us in and he wasn't like trying to shove us as an opener because he knew no one knew us. We weren't going to draw for him.
Right.
He just thought we'd blend well. Like, you know, think about being in that business for decades and still caring about like tiny ass little bands and like how they mesh into a set. You're not just trying to fill a 4-bill or a 3-bill show.
Right.
You know, he and me and him had a lot of late night conversations and like actually became pretty friendly. But you know, he was just a sweetheart. He's someone I could always email if we had friends coming to town and needed a show, and he'd try his best, you know. And he was just really accessible, and that's pretty damn rare in a big ass city full of bands that want to play at a popular little bar, you know. So yeah, he was a special one, but you know, he did it right. So he was a good example for like I think a lot of people. And you know, the Knockouts booking again, and we have friends booking shows there and hosting like a bunch of different variety shows and stuff. And you know, things are picking back up and it feels good. We're excited to play again. But I can tell you, I have not been this nervous about a show ever as I am like playing our hometown after not playing for like 19 months.
Right.
With
Right.
Maddie, poor Maddie, brand new drummer.
Yeah.
He knows the songs, dude. He knows them backwards and forwards. And he like is such a good drummer. He puts like so much personality into his playing, and
He really does, dude. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, in Ox, he fucking worked his ass off, dude.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he just loves music. It's great to have a drummer who loves music, who actually writes songs, who writes lyrics, who's like a poet. You know, he adds so much to it. So once we get past this show and we're kind of on our path, like I'm definitely going to start leaning on him to write with him, because so far it's just been me, you know, writing all these songs, and 16 songs in 2 or 3 years is pretty sad. So we might, might try to pick up the pace a little bit. Yeah.
Well, that's what I figured. What I realized one day is like I was all bummed on myself because, like, dude, I just can't write. And it's like I realized, hey, dickhead, why don't you pick up the guitar every once in a while? You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
You know, and that was my problem. I walk past these things fucking 20, 30 times a day, and I don't ever find time to pick up. But then I'm bummed out that I'm not writing anything. It's like it's not just gonna come to your head. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. I used to sleep riffs, like they would come to me in my sleep and shit.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it used to fucking really like hit me. Like I'd be possessed by like a riff that I'd think of, you know. And it hasn't happened in so long. You know what I mean? And I realize now that I really got to grind for it. You know?
Yeah, seriously, I feel like I'm on like the guitar's in the corner of the room and I'm on the couch staring at it, kind of side eyeing it, and it's like a donut and I'm on Weight Watchers. I'm just like, I don't want to touch you, but I do want to touch you. But I have this conflicted thing with it sometimes, you know. It's really bizarre. It's become very personal. Like,
yeah, I mean, for a lot of us, music is the longest relationship we've ever had. You know what I mean? And
it's true. Like, our moms and
it is weird. Besides your mom or your dad, you know what I mean? But
right,
you know, it really is like something that you have to actively like pursue and fucking keep it going because you get in these lulls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, the point is not to be too hard on yourself when you have those lulls, because like there were so many times I thought, wow, like I have such bad writers. The second No Say record, I wrote like more than half the songs on that record, and I wrote lyrics to one of them, and Carter wrote, and I sing on half of them. So Carter wrote the rest of my lyrics, you know, and it was like I was lucky to have him to pick up that weight for me. But I just told him one night, like, I cannot think of shit. I can't. I got all these tunes though. you know, and then it got to the point where I couldn't even write tunes really, and I was putting way too much pressure on myself, and
Right.
and it feels weird. And I'm also like, for who am I doing this? You know,
Right.
is it for me? Because like, of course, I love having people come to shows and like friends be complimentary and people buy your record, but at the end of the day, it's like you really kind of, or at least I'm doing it to fulfill some kind of like compulsion, you know?
Right.
Because it just feels so fucking good to finish a song or to have it come to you, and you know. So I found that trying to learn other people's songs, not looking up the tab online, sit with a guitar and play the song over and over on the record and like try to figure it out. And I've written so many tunes that way.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully not biting off what I was trying to learn, but mostly just like from fucking it up, I'll come up with some other kind of riff, you know.
Totally.
And that's been kind of my main method lately.
That's my one downfall, dude. I have a real hard time learning other people's shit. Like I'm not interested. I'm just not fucking interested. And I should actively try more because I think it'll get me outside of my box a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't fucking give a shit. Like,
totally.
you know, like it's like nothing's worse than going to like a party where it's a bunch of normies, right? You know, like, and they know you're a musician, and then they like want you to like play a song. You know what I mean? There's like and you're like, I just have to. I'm like, I'm not the guy, dude. Like, I'm not the guy that has like a book of songs memorized. Like, I'm the worst. Like, I'm the worst guy to ask that shit. I can't sing. My riffs are fucking all. Dude, can I tune it to drop C? Like,
yeah,
right. Like,
totally.
I'm the worst guy to do that. You know what I mean? And I felt so dumb many times in my life where I got family members like, "Hey man, play us a song." It's like, I can give you like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer right now, but that's about it. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. I am so glad that you know, no one's ever asked me at a party, but definitely it was grandma and my aunt at like every Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like family shit, you know.
Yeah. Oh, you're playing the guitar. Let me see how it's coming along. Like, no, bring it out. Come on. No, come on. Okay. And then you bring it out and you start playing a song. And then my grandma, she was like a classically trained piano player, is like, oh, your intonation's off. Like, you're flat. Your height, your B string is slightly sharp. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, forget it.
Never mind. Thanks.
And then all of a sudden it goes quiet. Like, the conversation changes, you know, and like they regret asking you, and you're like, well, fuck you. All right, I
didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it anyway.
I'm part of punk band now, just to spite you. Yeah.
Fuck you, grandma.
All I can think of is that scene from Animal House where they're at the party and the guy's playing guitar on the steps. He's singing, "I gave my love a chicken," and Belushi comes up and just smashes his guitar into pieces.
Totally,
we all know those guys at parties that pick that guitar up.
Oh, dude, they're the worst. You know? They're the worst, dude. There's like guys that would come over to my house and I hide the guitars from. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You're
shit,
like,
okay. Yeah.
No way, dude. I mean, this was back in the Montalvo days. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
This fucking some motherfucker grabs it, and you're like, put it down, dude. Put it down. Yeah. Put it down. No one wants to hear your songs, period.
Dude, there's 20 different conversations going. There's music on the stereo blaring, and all of a sudden he's playing the Beatles in the corner, and you're like, no one can hear you. Like, we know you're good. We know you rule. Like, it's okay. But,
totally, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, man. But that's good. I'm glad shows are starting to pick up, because you only hear about fucking what you hear about, you know. It's like you hear that like San Francisco's a shithole. It's on lockdown. There's no fucking... You can't do nothing, you know what I mean? It's like, of course it's not like that completely, you know. I've been like actively talking to Glowing Brain for about 5 fucking months now about coming on the podcast, you know, and not that I don't have any ill will or nothing. I'm stoked to have them on, but they're trying to record a record and they don't want to come on until they have something to talk about. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, dude, you know.
They're being...
I keep telling them, like, come down and play some shows, dude. Shows are going off. Since July, shows have been fucking going off.
Wow, yeah.
You know, like 600 kids showing up to fucking shows, dude.
What? Really?
It's insane. Right. It's insane right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I hope they're masking up and being smart and shit. Nope. But I mean, they're kids. So, nope. Okay. Yeah.
They're kids, dude.
You know,
I mean, they're like 18-year-old kids. You know, they're fucking. There's a whole new fucking batch of kids that are just going wild, dude.
Damn.
All right. I mean, good for them. You know, odds are they're going to survive COVID anyway. It's fucking. You know what I mean? It's just so much of this stuff is so asinine to me. You know, but not that I don't believe in it or think it's a terrible fucking thing, but.
Right.
You know, the kids are fine, dude. Let them fucking party. They're
They're
gonna do it anyway.
I mean, it's shows over here have been going for a minute, but I've been really proud of the Bay Area and some of like the, you know, some of the paces they set for how COVID was handled. And, you know, Newsom is whatever half the time, you know, and he's whatever the other half. But I think I feel like he handled it semi well, and the Bay Area always takes the cue from him. And San Francisco was really strict, really quick, and Alameda County, where Oakland is, they were really strict, really quick, and we had low numbers throughout the whole thing. And there was a couple little spikes, but you would see the hardest dudes walking down the street, masked up, yelling at other people to pull their masks up and shit. It was like really fucking cool to see people like actually care about, you know, the communities around them and stuff. And I think it showed in the numbers in the end, but I don't know. I haven't read anything about it in a while, but but so they waited a long time. We were supposed to play a pizza shop, my favorite pizza shop in Oakland, down 14th Street here. And they ended up canceling at the last minute. We're going to play with Body Farm.
Oh, okay.
Not last minute. It's actually like weeks from now, but so everyone's still, depending on their level of concernedness about it, you know, still being a little here or there, but pretty much shows are back in full swing. And it's funny you mentioned Glowing Brain, because Conrad is the one who knows, the singer, guitar or bass player of Glowing Brain, knows more Glass and Ashes songs than I do.
Does he really?
Talking about, yeah,
that's awesome.
And it's funny, they're being real strategic about how they launch this
thing. I know, and good for them, man. It's very smart.
It's just like what we were talking about. There's like a little bit of a game you got to play to get your shit out there, and they're doing it right, and their stuff rules. And they went back and forth on this record for months and months and months. I would have given up way sooner. You know, they wanted it absolutely perfect, from the artwork and the insert and the photography all the way to the music, especially. But so I'm stoked for you to hear it, because it's great.
Yeah, the one, I mean, I've heard the one song so far, and it's just ripping, dude. I mean, they're going to be a big fucking band. I mean, it's for sure.
I compare them a lot to you, because I do not know how a human being can smoke that much fucking weed and play music that heavy and fast. Because like I can get to sleep, I can get sleep and Electric Wizard and shit, but with how fast Glowing Brain is and shit, like I don't understand. And especially Doc, the guitar player, and James, the drummer, like everything, all the little intricate things they're doing while being so fucking blazed out of their minds is incredible. So.
Yeah, I don't know them, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to imagine anyone's going to smoke more weed than the fucking Wrath, you know what I mean? But I'm sure it's happening, you know what I mean?
They're up there, dude.
They also fucking, I mean, I laugh sometimes, because I've listened to some of the old Wrath records just to kind of fucking see if I could even play them anymore.
Yeah.
And not a fucking chance, dude. It's like comically fucking fast, some of that shit, dude. I can't even.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we this high and this fucking fast at the same time? It just doesn't make any sense, dude.
You had the young brain, man. You had the young brain. And now your brain, all those little corpuscles are spreading apart slowly, and there's all this air in between them.
You know what it was? I stopped smoking weed. That's probably why my fucking brain doesn't work so good anymore.
Oh, yeah. You know? Yeah, I don't either. I can't. If I do, I start to think everyone hates me, and I go to bed. Like,
I question every decision I've ever made in my life since I was 15. Every time I smoke pot now.
I always think about the most random dumb thing I did that haunts me to this day. I eat it though. I love, you know, it's nice having Maddie. Maddie's a great outlet, because he works at a place, and so he's always bringing home the newest invention. And I've been vegan for a couple months now, and like they got some vegan gummies now, and he's brought them home to me. He's so sweet. So you know,
I used to find the 5 mil fucking little like chocolate covered espresso beans. Like that was it. I'm good. Like, just takes the edge off. You don't feel fucking high. You're all good. Like that's what from a guy that used to smoke 6 to 10 blunts a day, plus bong rips, plus whatever, vaporizing, to now a 5 milligram fucking little chocolate bean will fuck my life up. It's like, it's so weird, man.
Speaking of weed and stories, do you remember being assigned my caretaker before my surprise party? That Carter threw for me at Hummingbird House.
Vaguely, yes.
I don't remember a lot of stories until someone starts me, but this story is so imprinted on my brain.
All right, let's hear it.
So fucking traumatic. It's my birthday. I don't even remember what birthday it is. I'm 25, 26, 27. I don't know. 25, probably. It's mid-20s. And I don't even, I think it was a Friday, maybe a Thursday. I don't know. But probably a Friday, because Carter was throwing a surprise party unbeknownst to me with all our friends. So it had to be like closer to the weekend. But so you come over and you're like, what are you doing today? I'm like, I got no plans. I'm just gonna eat junk food and watch movies. And you're like, come smoke with me. And I'm like, cool, I have no plans. I was always a bad smoker, remember?
Yeah, you've always
One
been a
hit,
bad pot
one
smoker.
hit, one hit wonder, cheap date, whatever. And so we go to your place, and you got the volcano, and we're smoking like, a hefty bag full of weed. And then we're hanging out, and I guess maybe you got the text that like it was cool to let me go whenever, and like you had something to do. So I'm like, cool, I'm so high. I'm stumbling over to 7-Eleven. I get like every fucking Hostess thing they have off the rack, like a disgusting amount of zebra cakes and Swiss cake rolls and shit, nachos, and I used to put relish on those nachos when I was high. And I walk home with my arms full of shit and open the door, and there's like 40 fucking friends screaming surprise. And I immediately ditched all the junk food into the bush to the right of the front door, because I was like, immediately the first thing I felt was shame. Like, I'm high, they're gonna see me with all this food and think I'm the worst person on earth. So I throw it all in the bushes, and they all saw that, of course. I thought I was being slick, and they pull me in, and I'm like, and immediately Carter's like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I thought you'd be happy. And I'm like, I'm so fucking high right now. I'm so high. And they pull me in the kitchen, they show me my birthday cake, and they were like, I think Kara and Ashley like rubbed my back and like hung out with me for like an hour until I could go back in the living room with everybody. It was so fucking bad. You got me so high. It was awful. It was fucking awful.
I'm sorry, man.
I'll never forget
because you just fucking forget how high you can get. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah. And you're like, how am I going to entertain him for like an hour? Like, I think we had Wonder Shows on, which still to this day is my favorite show of all time.
How good was that fucking show, dude?
No one else can stand it except like you and one other person I know.
Totally, man.
Literally probably the most profound, amazing,
it's insane,
hilarious
dude,
show you've ever seen in your life. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen Wonder Shows, and it is early days of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, fucking chaos, dude. That
incredible. Show. Yeah, so problematic in the best way possible.
Totally, dude. Yeah, we used to get so high and watch Wonder Shows and Aqua Teen Hunger Force and the fucking Tim and Eric show when that shit started coming out. Remember that? That was fucking bad. That was one Rosie would veto every time. She's like, I can't. She's all, it's the sound effects, like the the licking and the
it was the early days of ASMR for sure. They were doing that for comedy. Dude. It was cool to discover that shit with you guys, because we were like, somebody's making comedy that gets us,
totally, man.
And we felt like we were in on something so new that just disgusted everybody else in the world.
It was so brutal, dude. Yeah, those Montalvo days, I look back on so fondly, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that fucking, I couldn't believe how many of us lived in that neighborhood. You know what I mean? And the fucking parties and decimated portions playing, and
oh my god,
you know what I mean, having a fucking baby in that apartment, you know what I mean, was like oh my god, dude, it was bad. Not that there was anything bad going on in my apartment or with a baby, but it was like, just to raise a kid around 35 other fucking people.
It was just loud and covered in beer and cigarette smoke and like constantly, and there's people coming in and out and parties and
I was glad that ended up being mostly at your house. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I locked that shit down when Scout came, dude. I was like, nope, we can't do this anymore, dude. And then the notorious story of Maddie almost lighting the fucking apartment on fire, right? You remember that night?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I just remember getting the hysterical phone call. I don't remember. I don't know what actually happened. I mean, I've just heard the accounts of it. But were you the one that came into the apartment and fucking put it out?
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure I was with Chris Panic. Yeah.
Totally.
And we were walking by, and it was like smoky.
Mm-hmm.
We walked in, and Matt's like, I think he was face down or on his side on the linoleum floor in the kitchen, passed out drunk. And there was like, it wasn't like a full flame yet, but it was almost there. And I don't remember what he was making. I don't remember if he was making
rice or something. He like
rice,
Tina's
pizza rolls or whatever the fuck he was cooking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And we turned it off. I tried to wake him. He wouldn't stir, and I stepped over him, and we went about our business, Yeah,
because Maddie tells it. He just remembers waking up to getting beat with a broom by Rosie, cussing at him and shit. What I mean?
Yeah. I think Chris maybe hollered up to her when we were leaving. I don't remember. I mean, it was one of those nights we were probably walking to get our like 10th Ice House tall can, you know.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know, but we knew enough that was bad.
That's not good. Well, I do appreciate you saving my family's life, dude.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt
Yeah, it's
has
fucking
that
bananas.
talent. Still to this day, he has the talent to pass out anywhere in any position, no matter what, be it cold linoleum floor
Yeah.
or a fucking tree in the backyard or whatever. The world is his bed for sure.
It's a raw talent, dude. I mean, the amount of stories I have about him is fucking endless, dude.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I did want to ask, I remember your old job, right? You were working with the homeless. Like, what was that? I know that, I mean, homeless problem up there is, and it's everywhere now. I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about it, because it's so fucking bad. Like when you go, I know you haven't been to LA probably in a minute, but it is unfucking real. The homeless.
I mean, Skid Row, it is the largest.
But Skid Row is everywhere now. It's fucking everywhere. You know what I mean? Like I went to a Stranger Things thing with my kids.
Yeah.
And we had to actively drive around fucking people's shit in the middle of the street. You know what I mean? It would look like a movie set bad,
Yeah.
But
where are they gonna poop? People are always like, they go to San Francisco. I'm like, there's so much human shit. I'm like, where do you expect them to go? I don't know.
There is an app, right? I was told there's an app.
I mean, I'm sure there's an app.
There's an app. I think there's an app for homeless shits in San Francisco.
Oh, for like where they can go shit? Or...
They mark them when they see them.
Oh, okay.
Like a geocaching app. Like there's a shit right here on the fucking corner.
That seems like a very tragic waste of resources on their part, but I guess it's funny, so people download it. But
I don't know. I've never seen it. I just it's one of those urban myths. But so what were you doing? You were basically like providing homeless people the opportunity to have showers and bathe, right?
Yeah, amongst other things. Yeah, so we had these big old mobile trailers, 35 feet long, 3 bathrooms. One of them was ADA accessible, so we could wheelchair up the ramp. And they were full bathroom, shower, sink, toilet, and we actually had a program, or they have a program, in LA. So they're on Skid Row 1 or 2 days a week. But yeah, we were I basically was tasked with, I started out as someone on site in San Francisco, driving and parking the trailer, hooking up the water, running a list, getting people in and out of showers, getting them toiletries and stuff they needed. And just hanging out on the street. It was great. It was the best job I ever had, for sure. And then I kind of rose up in the ranks a little, and then I started the program in Oakland. So we did 5 days a week across Oakland from east to west.
Wow.
And we had 2 trailers, and we had 2 locations a day, 5 days a week. It was a lot. I mean, it was just, not even speaking on the emotional like toll, or like the socialization toll, just talking all day. Just mechanically and logistically was just a wild job to have, because I'm working with the city and the Department of Transportation, and I'm getting permits from the water department and EV Mud, which is our version. It's like our municipal district.
Okay.
So they deal with drainage, where I could dump the water in the sewers, and after it was used. It was just an incredibly varied job to have. And on top of that, we were hanging out all day with members of our community, that were living on the street.
Right.
So you're hearing stories, you're getting to know people. And it was a real simple thing. We give people showers. They come, they sign up. First come, first serve. We get them in, we get them out. That's it, but it became really complicated really quick, because you start to make friendships with people and you start to hear their stories. And so while certainly people experiencing homelessness is like obviously a countrywide issue, it's really stark up here, because it's like, this is the richest, like I think San Francisco surpassed Manhattan like 2 or 3 years ago for how expensive it is. And so you're seeing like, millionaire and billionaires stepping over homeless folks to go into their the Twitter building or some shit on Market Street now. And it's gross, because those people just snap their fingers and change everything. But they don't, so yeah. But it was great work. I mean, I actually live across the street from an encampment with some of our former guests. We call them guests. The job was really good, because it opened up my mind to all these intricacies of the issue, like the way we address folks on the street, the way we, even the verbiage we use. So I've seen people get kind of snarky about how, we're not saying homeless anymore. We're saying houseless, or we're saying people experiencing homelessness. And like,
Mhm.
what does that matter? Should we really focus on that? And like, yeah, we should. We should change ideas about everything across the board. Mostly, even only because it sparks people's interest. You know, everyone hears the word homeless. Everyone knows it. You don't have a home. Okay. And why would you say
Yeah.
houseless? It means the same thing, but it's different. So it shifts your attention to that. If
Mm.
you read that or you hear someone say that, it kind of like, it's a brain thing, you know, it perks up
Well, yeah,
your,
because you hear the homeless and you think, okay, drug addict, piece of shit. Like,
right,
you know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not that I do that, but you know, the average person is like, I don't want fucking
Yeah.
homeless people living near me. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is a
Yeah.
lack of compassion overall. You know what I mean? I think for a lot of it. And I,
It
you know,
is.
I, as a generally compassionate human, like being a father, I don't want it around me. I don't need
Totally.
a, you know what I mean? Like, and it's
Yeah.
just on a pure protective level. I don't
Yeah.
fucking want to my kids to have to deal with some fucking dude coming up and maybe pulling a knife or something, which is
Yeah.
seemingly rare. But you know, with
Right.
what happened at Aloha not so long ago, the
I
fucking
know.
guy in Malibu getting hacked to death with a fucking machete in front of his kids,
Totally.
that shit freaks me out, dude. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
now I have found myself on guard. Whereas normally, like I generally naturally attract weirdos, dude. Like
Yeah.
they love me, they fucking love me, dude, and they're
Oh, I
always
know. That's
talking to
why
me,
you
and
get,
I don't have a problem doing it. But over the
yeah.
last few years, just with the unsettling fucking chaos that's going on, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey man, stand back, get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? And
Right, right.
I have found myself losing compassion
Yeah.
for homeless people. You know what I mean? And I
It's,
know it's not the
yeah.
right thing to do. You know what I mean? And when it's all said and good, you're supposed to be fucking compassionate. But as
Yeah.
a father, like as a protector, I'm like, I ain't taking any fucking chances on your having the worst day of your life, making it the worst day of mine. You know?
Right, right. Yeah. And I, you know, I've, my, uh, my roommate, sorry, spacing for a second. She takes a walk every day and she meditates. She does this like beautiful thing every day, you know, walks and meditates down. We have a parkway running down the middle of our street. It's just like
Mhm.
grass and shit. And there's a woman that's been living in a tent a couple blocks down. And she
Mhm.
sees her every day, waves and walks past her, you know, and the other day, the woman decides that she's the devil and she starts accosting my roommate, and
Right.
my roommate's trying to stay cool, and she comes home and she was really upset and she was asking me like, and it opened up this whole conversation about, you know, for me, like, I mean, especially being raised Christian too, like you, or Roman Catholic in my case, like
Mhm.
you're it's the whole turn the other cheek thing. But for me,
Mhm.
it's not about the religious aspect of that. It's more about understanding where someone's coming from and empathizing. Like, you know, I don't know what her day was like. She could have just been assaulted. She could have the
Yeah.
worst night of her life. She has maybe some untreated mental illness and there's nowhere for her
Right.
to go. So I mean, there's systemic problems. Like, we didn't only do showers, we gave wraparound services, we called them. So we had people there, like
Wrap around,
nurses
huh?
there. Yeah,
Watch out.
we had
Hey.
nurses there that would give them medical care, wound care. We had people that
Yeah.
would, you know, do needle exchanges. We even had the library there giving out library cards, because the libraries are some of the best places for folks to go
Mhm.
to use computers so they can communicate with their family and tell them they're okay. You know, to waste some time to like figure out, you know, what other kind of
Just
services are
not
out there.
be on the street. Right. You know?
Totally, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, over like almost 4 years of working there, I got to know people, a lot of people really well. And I knew people that had been on the street for 20 or 30 years that had never touched drugs or alcohol.
Mhm.
I met people that were just freshly on the street because they got fired from their job and they were living with their grandpa and they didn't know he wasn't paying property taxes and the bank took the house. Every story you can imagine. And I've seen the
Yeah.
progressions from people that just hit the street, you know, fresh faced young man with a backpack, all his stuff. He's going to get a job. He's going to figure it out. He won't be there long. You know, next week, no backpack, missing a shoe. He got his ass beat the night before. They stole all his shit. You know,
Right.
the next week, he's got bruises all over his face. Like he got his ass beat again. Like someone stole a
Yeah.
sleeping bag. Now he's freezing. The next week, he's losing weight because he's not sleeping and he doesn't know where to go for food. And then
Right.
he starts drinking because who the fuck wouldn't drink if you're on the street every single night? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And
Why
then it
wouldn't
just
you
goes
turn to
on and
drugs?
on.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
And the folks you're talking about with the real violent tendencies, that's just some serious untreated mental illness. And it's
Of
like,
course. Yeah.
we got to decide, you know, I guess as like a society, like what we want our culture to be towards other people. And do we want like Reagan era shit where he, you know, defunded pretty much all mental health, like federally funded or state funded mental health. He basically defunded federal mental health programs, and
Totally.
they gave states the right to choose,
Mm-hmm.
like some of those without any federal mandates above it, which of course the states are going to be like, we'll take that money and we'll put it over here.
Oh yeah,
You
we're
know what
gonna
I mean?
use it
Just
for
fuck
something
these
else.
people.
Yeah.
You know, so it just
Yeah,
was
I mean,
like
even with the Camarillo Hospital, them just straight letting everyone out back in the 70s. You know what I
bus
mean? Like,
tickets, right? You go north, you
yeah,
go south. Here's a bus ticket.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
Giuliani was praised for cleaning up New York, and he just sent everyone fucking south. You know,
Yeah,
he didn't do anything. He just moved everyone, and they still do that to this day, even in San
yeah,
Francisco. You know,
yeah.
so it's like it's way too like intricate a problem to like have any easy answer for.
Oh
And
yeah,
your attitude with your kids is like, I could never blame someone for feeling that way, because
yeah.
you don't want to risk someone else's state of mind. You don't want to risk your kids based on what you have seen happen, you know?
Well, and it's like I don't treat them bad. You know what I mean? I'm
I
not
don't
like
think you do.
I'm not
I would never.
actively, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
fuck you, motherfucker. But I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I
Yeah.
would have no problems like embracing someone that was fucking
Yeah.
homeless if they had a funny thing to say or whatever. But now
Yeah.
I really do think twice. You know what I mean? Because people are
Totally.
so mentally unstable. Like I don't know if it's, and I'm sure it's the gamut. I don't know if it's mental health a lot, if it's a drugs a lot, if it's a huge combination of a lot. But a lot of us are a few paychecks away from being homeless.
I'm gonna
You know what I
say, yeah, a
mean?
lot of people that, you know, talk shit are like, you just don't understand how close you are to that.
I
Like,
know exactly.
it's so cutthroat. You don't find those landlords anymore that'll let you slide,
No.
or whatever the fuck. Everyone's got someone else on top of them, you know,
Hmm.
and it's like, and just the whole culture of house buying, and how it's, you know, there's banks that own shit tons. Even Zillow, I think they just finally stopped because they got so much shit for it, but they were buying up tons of properties,
Oh,
and
totally.
they were playing
Sure.
the flip it game or sitting on them till they get, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
that's so gross. It's so gross to hear that there's like 3 empty homes or apartments for every one person homeless. Like, that's disgusting, man. Like,
Yeah, because you
but you
literally
know,
can't afford to live in it. You know what I mean? And they're
totally.
owned by fucking Saudi princes or whoever the fuck. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like people that are never going to use the property. They just think it's real estate as a hobby. You know.
right.
But you know, it is a weird like because when you really get into it, it's like the intricacies of the homeless problem are so wide, right? I mean, you can't.
Yeah,
There's no, like you said, there's no easy answer. There's a shitload of gray. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, there's things that we can do, but you know what I have a huge problem with is that there is a massive infrastructure based around the homeless problem. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
And it is a money making fucking machine at this point, and it's like
totally.
just like every other fucking thing that goes on. You know, it's all
Yeah,
profit driven. You got
right.
people that are making $200,000-$350,000 that are in charge of the fucking homeless crisis,
It's
and
absurd.
nothing's ever getting fixed. You know
It's
what I
a
mean?
you know how many mixers or fundraisers I went to where it was like, you know, $2,500 plates, and where like there was an open bar and shit. Like,
Totally.
fuck you.
The
How
event
dare
itself
you?
costs fucking one hundred and fifty
Are
thousand
you
dollars. You know?
you're gonna have to hit a $500,000 ceiling before any of that money is made for the cause. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how dare, it's just a gross, that whole world of philanthropy is
Yeah.
disturbing. And anyone can look it up, like how philanthropy really works with millionaires and billionaires. It's a
Oh yeah.
fucking joke. It's a joke. But there's a lot of good there's the Coalition on Homelessness in San Francisco. I'll always promote them. Their CEO makes minimum wage. They literally live their message, you know. And there's
Yeah.
plenty of good organizations out there, but you're totally right. It reminds me of a tiny little version of the War Machine, where you got
Right.
Blackwater, or not Blackwater, but you got like non-governmental organizations charging the
You got these
U.S.
contractors making millions off of it. You
They're like,
know?
oh, you want an office in Afghanistan? Okay, well, the chairs are $10,000, the pencils are $800. Like, it's the same way in the sense that there's all these inflated prices. And I was really proud of the organization I worked for, because that wasn't a thing. We really, like, we used that money, you know, but
Mhm.
also the founder believed in a living wage, so we all got paid very well. We
Mhm.
had like mental health days. There was a huge focus on like self-care, because what we were doing was pretty traumatic, and it
It's
was hard to
draining,
figure
right?
out.
Mentally, physically, emotionally on you. So hearing
I
those
mean, we're
stories
watching
all day, you
people.
can't not be affected.
No, I mean, we watched people die, like, not literally right in front of our face, except in like one or two cases. But like, you know, on my birthday, actually, I met Gavin Newsom on my birthday working an event outside of the Bill Graham Auditorium over here in San Francisco, you know, which hosted Hendrix and the Doors and shit like that.
Mhm.
But Newsom puts on like an every 3-month giant event where folks can come and get like dental work and like healthcare stuff and
Right.
all kinds of services. It's really cool. And I got a chance to meet him, and I just asked him about Joanna Newsom because she's my favorite artist ever. I don't know if you remember her, but I used to torture you with her song. She plays harp and sings like.
Oh
I
yeah.
also, that's his like cousin, right?
They're related?
Yeah. He was so shocked and grossed out that I would ask him. I would use my time with him to ask him about his cousin, but I thought I'd do it. But that's not the point. My birthday, Bill Graham Auditorium, and I have two people OD on my birthday, and I'm working almost alone, running a whole trailer.
God,
and it was just like, and of course it was the birthday that everyone forgot or something. So it was just like a really fucked up, gross day.
Yeah.
But like the same time we revived both people, and it was like happy, but it was just like those moments like I'll never forget. I'll carry with me. But also some of the folks that we loved and we got really connected to. Plenty of stone cold sober, amazing, hilarious folks with rich stories that lived in Oakland. They watched it change over 50 years or less, and they're out on the street and they are not even bummed about it. They're just trying to get through their day and they're spreading joy. And you'll meet all types. All types. But I don't blame you in that sense with like that protectiveness over your kids, especially. But I hope maybe, do you talk to them? Have they asked you about that, or have you opened that conversation up with them about?
Well, I don't have much interaction with it, you know what I mean? But like, I have no problem. I'm not going to be if it's me, all good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But usually the guy that is like running up to approach me is already looking off anyway, you know what I mean? Whereas I know I can handle myself, but when I do have my kids, I'm like, I'm never going to cuss someone out unless they're really getting weird. But I have no problems like hearing someone's story, or I'm just saying that as like the way in which normally I have always operated is really through compassion and understanding that people suffer. But over the last fucking 10 years, and the want to protect my children and being in a strange place with them, you know what I mean? It's like, that's going to override everything. I'll kill everyone in the park if I have to.
I know you will. I know you will. I've seen you do it. It was
I dream about it.
I was wondering more about if you talk to your kids about it.
Oh, about my children? To my children. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, they have a general compassion for people, but there was a point when they were really young that we would see people that were fucked up heroin addicts on the street.
Right.
And I made the mistake one time of going, hey, look, that's like a real life zombie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had one time, we were walking down like Maine or whatever, and fucking Scout and King were like, it's a zombie. You know what I mean? Wow. I was like, oh my God. I felt so bad because it's they are people, right? You know what I mean?
Of course,
but I've had these weird interactions with people. Like I was downtown not too long ago, and they have completely closed downtown off like for walking, right?
Right, yeah.
It's all, you can't drive down. I love it. I love the way it's set up.
I've been there. It looks great. I love it.
Right. So I was with Bronson, the baby, and I had just gotten some coffee at Palermo, that little coffee shop down there, because I dropped the kids off in the morning at school. Then we go downtown and I get a cup of coffee.
Coffee will make you poop for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it gets you moving.
Coffee will make you poop.
But we were just kind of standing around and walking up, and he was walking up and down the road, right? And this guy was walking down fucking Main, and he had this gigantic 5-gallon jug of like brown ass liquid. I mean, right? And he has a cup, and he's pouring the liquid into a cup, and he's throwing it on the windows.
Oh God!
You know what I mean? And so now I'm here with my baby, who I will kill everyone for. Right, and he's doing the whole fucking conspiracy shit, just wild shit's flying out of his mouth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, dude. He's about to walk by Palermo. I'm like, if this motherfucker does anything weird, I'm gonna kill him. You know what I mean? Because there's just, my baby's here, and he's eye fucking me because I am a guy with a beard. I look like a guy that would eye fuck somebody, and I'm not.
You're a challenge. You're like a boss at the end of a level.
I'm like the boss at Double Dragon, dude. Right. Contra boss. But anyway, so I kind of get Bronson, I shuffle him over into the area in the corner, and he looks at everyone at Palermo and decides not to fucking throw the liquid. And I'm like, thank God, dude, because I'm not getting covered in that shit. But he keeps walking down Main, right? And he's throwing liquid and he's saying crazy shit. And I'm kind of watching him. And, 2 fucking cops on bikes roll right past him. Don't
Yeah.
say a fucking word, right? And so I stopped the cops. I'm like, hey, man, are you going to do anything about that at all? And they're
Right.
like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're telling me you didn't just see this guy throw brown ass liquid all over these fucking stores? And they're like, oh, we didn't notice. I'm like, how did you not notice? You know what I mean? So they go around and talk to him. And now he knows that I talked to him. So now he's starting to approach me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And he's within 100 feet. So it's like, I can get ready. I'll throw a chair into his head or whatever. But, you're just so on fucking guard. Like, and it's so scary. Whereas, my compassion is this is a guy who's obviously fucking out of his mind. He's
Yeah.
schizophrenic. I mean, the way he's talking, you could tell. But he's
Yeah.
also throwing some unknown liquid at people on the
Right.
street. And you're like, this guy
Yeah.
needs to be taken off. You know what I mean? Off the
Yeah.
fucking streets. But the cops don't want to do shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't want to approach him. They didn't want to fucking talk to him.
I mean,
And I'm
they're
like,
lazy. That
and they're
that was going to
lazy.
be
They're
the next
fucking
4
lazy.
hours of their. That would have been the next 4 hours of their day dealing with that paperwork and all the bullshit. It's gross.
Yeah, it's fucked up, and it's like I don't not have compassion for the guy, but it is getting to the point where it's like, just get the fuck away from me, man. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
whereas
no
before I'm
one-
like, hey man, yeah, let's have a weird conversation. This is awesome,
Right.
But
No
I
one
don't want to be uncompassioned. I just
Yeah.
it's just weird when you have something to live for. You know what I mean? Like your whole entire mindset changes. And I can understand the people that are bitching about it, saying like, get these fucking guys away from me. People living in Venice Beach that are getting knives pulled on them coming out of their houses and shit. You're like,
Right.
and it is a huge problem. This is a mental health problem. We have, and nothing's being addressed. It's just put a Band-Aid on it and fucking keep them moving, and it's very sad. It bums me out.
Totally. I mean, no one that's done this work or even institutionally like trains people like what I did, de-escalation tactics or compassionate care or response, that kind of stuff. No one will ever argue with the number one being self-preservation. Like,
right.
When my roommate came home the other day and she was really fucked up over what happened, I was like, number one de-escalation tactic is space. Give space always. It makes the person feel safe, and you're actually literally physically not near them. Like,
right.
Nothing better. It makes too much sense. But don't feel bad about self-preservation. You can be a compassionate person, but it's like putting the mask on first before you put it on someone else, kind of thing.
Right.
But compassion is something I hope everyone works on constantly. And the zombie thing is funny, but like at the end of the day, it's slightly.
It was mean. It was mean. You know what I mean? I didn't.
But it's also those little changes that you want to have some humor in your day. Fuck it, you know me. I say all kinds of weird shit.
Totally, dude.
But like it's all those little changes that make a big deal over time, and especially the kids, they notice that shit. But like self-preservation overall, man, you can't.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it's all about local government and shit. Like, we want to. It's a huge issue for every city, every fucking city,
every city,
how small. It's a huge, huge issue. Yet it's never the center point of like. I mean, politicians usually want to make it go away, so they'll do something to mitigate it in the short term.
Right.
We'll put them up in emergency shelters. We'll power wash the street. We'll give encampments porta potties. Like, get them the fuck off the street. Assess their needs. Get them the services.
Right.
And you know what? Honestly, at the end of the day, just like as long as the world has been the world, there's going to be people who prefer to roam. But those aren't going to be the ones that are brandishing knives and going nuts. Those folks, they don't want to be doing that shit,
Right.
I've met a lot of them. I've been kicked and screamed at and had the worst shit said to me in my life. And the next day, apologies and love and hugs. Like, it's all over the place, Nobody wants to be doing that shit. But first house them, get them. But also people are like, well, you have this huge plot of land on the east side of town, like throw them all over there. I'm like, oh, now we're just going to corral a bunch of people like they're animals. It's so complicated,
Yeah, it is complicated, man. What made you leave? How come you left?
I mean, COVID happened and all our services stopped. And I got to be honest, I got a little disillusioned with the organization because I think that's when we were needed probably the most.
Mm-hmm.
Hygiene was the number one factor in transmission of COVID.
Right.
And now we left people without a way to clean themselves or even wash their fucking hands.
Right.
And so I took issue with it and I became a work from home office person and I didn't vibe with it.
Yeah.
And I think my shitty attitude showed.
Yeah.
So I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, all right,
But
gotcha.
it was
Yeah.
like, it was one of those things where I was watching all these other organizations pop up during COVID doing this work. And we even donated trailers and equipment to other nonprofits doing that work. And we're
Right.
sitting on our fucking hands having
Yeah.
20 Zoom meetings, and literally nothing would come of the Zoom meetings. It was just
Right.
like some weird, and trust me, I felt okay collecting a paycheck, not having to like get up at 5:30 every morning and bust my ass and do this shit. But like,
Right.
that was my job that I love to do. And
Yeah.
I would see folks all over town. Where are you guys at? Where are you gonna be? Like, blah
Hmm.
blah blah. I need my shower. Like, my wife needs. I'm like, dude, we're not doing anything. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Sorry,
it's not
man.
my choice. Like, I was the
Yeah.
boss of the East Bay side, but like, I was under the umbrella. I couldn't just do
You can't
shit
go
without
rogue,
permission.
right? Yeah.
There was a few days I'm like, I'm just gonna drive the trailer out today and just fucking start giving showers. But no, I mean, everything was like permitted and
Yeah.
precise and like on the level. So
Yeah. It is
um
hard because that's where you get into the fact that this is a machine and there's someone that's gonna lose their ass. You know what I mean?
yeah,
If people really go a rogue and really start helping without the thing.
yeah,
So now the city's not getting their little fucking permit money, and
I know.
it's a bummer, man. It's a sad thing, and like I said, I don't want to put out the fact that I don't have any compassion for people, but I do struggle with it. You know what I mean? And especially now, it's like, you know, but I'm
I know
never
you
gonna be
would.
the guy that's fucking trying to beat the fuck out of a homeless guy. It's just not
No,
gonna. You
no,
know what I
no.
mean? It's like,
I know you, and
yeah,
I know your heart, and I know you're not
yeah,
like that. But like, you're balancing that with like literally being like a papa bear,
hmm,
and the issue, and situations getting seemingly worse and worse and worse for people because shit's driving everyone crazy. And truthfully, like, I can't imagine, what I would do if I was on the street and I was getting shit from people all day, and then I started using drugs to kind of self-medicate for
right.
my trauma, and then you get too far, especially slippery slope with heroin. I mean, you disappear
Right.
into that like fairly quickly. And
The heroin,
uh,
meth. I mean, meth is the worst.
good. I mean, and I saw it. So one of our sites was at Civic Center in San Francisco, so it's right by City Hall.
Hmm.
And it's Homeland Security, like, basically has jurisdiction over that piece of property, right in front of City Hall, and it's the most heroin every single day sold in the Bay Area
Yeah,
is
totally.
on Homeland Security property, and
Right.
they don't fuck with it because, just like I said, it's the next 4 hours of paperwork for them. So
Right.
they decide. I seen cops walk right past dudes with a needle in their arm, like mid push, and
Totally.
kids. They have all these kids like from South America, like, that basically kind of shipped up here and made to sell those little balloons,
Hmm.
and a lot of those kids, their families are in danger back home if they fuck up, if the money doesn't show up, if
Totally,
they don't
dude.
sell enough, and some of them like the job, and some of them don't. I've met a few because they use our services, but a lot of them are kind of forced to do that shit. But
Totally,
I
man.
still talked shit every day I came out of the bar, and I'd see those kids counting all the little balloons in their hand. I'd be like, fuck you, motherfucker, fuck you, because I was just so angry. And there's Homeland Security, they're decked out like they're in the fucking military, you know
Right.
what I mean? And they're like,
Happening right in front of them. Yeah.
you know but they're like, there's a better use of their time, and it's really their job is to kind of protect, from
Yeah.
fucking terrorism or whatever the fuck. Nothing ever happens over there, but
Yeah.
it was really kind of a stark contrast to see. And the only time I saw a cop even give a shit was when a guy dropped a gun, and then it was like 30 fucking cars and a
Oh yeah. Totally.
helicopter, and but
Yeah.
it was wild work. I really want to return to working in the community, but I think I would do parks department or something, like
Right.
something where I'm on my feet so I could lose my COVID 35.
Yeah.
It
Totally.
wasn't COVID 15 for me, all right.
No, not yeah,
It was
me neither,
COVID
dude.
30.
I put on a solid 25, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
I
bad, man. Well,
it'd be fun to
I'm
work.
glad to fucking. I
Yeah,
mean, you've always been such a compassionate dude, and you have always cared. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's rad to see that you did it, and because every time I talk to you, it was like, fuck, man, that's what a cool fucking
yeah,
gig. You know what I mean? You have to really fucking care in order to do that shit. And
yeah.
rad.
I got a lot of stories and a lot of friends I see all over the city and all over Oakland. It's a lot of
Yeah,
friends that are out on the street, and it's like, it's good to see people are thriving everywhere.
yeah,
I would tell you, like, you know to access that part that wants to like be more compassionate, but ultimately you gotta protect your own always. But
yeah,
man, people are, America's the funny. I can't remember the quote exactly. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like Americans are like they see themselves as like future billionaires. So right now we're currently just embarrassed poor people waiting for that break to win the lotto or make an app. Then your dad's like, why don't you make an app that you'll be a millionaire? Like, it doesn't really happen that way, but okay.
Sure, man, no problem.
And stop seeing ourselves as that and more of a community with each other and start voting in line with that kind of shit and protecting the people that need that. And
I think there is a lot of I think there is a lot of that going on. I think if there's one silver lining in COVID, it's the fact that people are really starting to think for the first time in their lives, what do I want to do? I don't want to return to my fucking piece of shit job. I hate that job. I hate making fucking $13 an hour. You know what I mean? And I think for the first time, people are really starting to consider their place in this world, and they want to make it better. You know what I mean? Which is rad. Totally. So if anything comes out of this shit, I'm hoping it's that. You know.
My dad would be mad at me, but I'm so stoked with what's going on with like restaurant workers and like union workers.
Oh, me too.
The fuck out, saying fuck you. Like it's amazing. I mean, we know this. We're a product of. We're the same generation as a lot of those folks. Like we were there. We had to do. I mean, my first job was $5.25 minimum wage.
Right.
How the fuck was I gonna live on that, dude?
You're not.
Even when rent was $600, which was cheap back then, like that's all I made the entire month.
Still 3 paychecks to pay your rent, dude. You know what I mean? You're like, fuck, man. It's. I mean, obviously I've been a union guy for many years. I'm 100% pro. If your fucking job's treating you like shit, absolutely strike. Our only power is in either consuming or fucking the workers. You know what I mean? You want to fucking change something, stop buying it, dude. You want to you want to really change something, stop fucking producing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Watch how fast these guys change. You know what I mean? And I think more and more people now are starting to realize it, which is good. So
I love that the Cola Boy interview where you discuss about that kind of supply chain shit and it's I love that socialism and communism is a fucking hashtag now, and I love that people realize how fucking stupid capitalism is as a system. And while there's problems with all of them across the board, like we can make a melting pot of different ideals and
it can all work. There's room for all of it. You know what I mean? If you
there is
compassion first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's room for all of us on Jeff Bezos' new yacht.
Yeah, I know. So that motherfucker, he could give us all $1 billion and still have like $69 billion left, dude.
Yeah. Just give me a room on your yacht. It's like a mile long, dude. You'll never see me. You'll
never go to Epstein's Island and fuck some teenagers. You know what I mean? Perfect.
Totally. Oh man. Yeah.
Anyway. Well, dude, thanks for coming on the pod, man. It was really good to catch up with you.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I'll be talking to you. It was for the record, it was really nice to see you this weekend. And
yeah.
All
right.
We're in the future.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
It's the future. Oh yeah. Hi everybody in the future. I love you.
Anyway, all right, brother. Well, I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Give your love to your family and I love you.
Will do, man.